Left Brain and I are still trying to learn to sign for the hearing impaired. Most difficult thing I have ever learned or tried to learn. And Left Brain said, well, if you're going to learn it, I'll learn it too. You can have somebody to chit-chat with. He attacked learning sign language. He made 1,800 flashcards, and he memorized them within 2 weeks. It took me months, and I still get them confused, but he memorized them with that left brain. And he never, while staring right at the palm of his hand, never mastered the art of turning his hand toward a hearing impaired person. So what this means is, if we are communicating with any of our friends who need signing, they have to walk along behind us. Didn't I keep smiling well during that? Yeah. Here's the thing about a smile. If you're in charge of something and things have gone wrong and people know it, you can keep a smile on your face. They will assume she's got this under control. And if nobody knows that something's wrong and you can smile, you might can get it solved before anybody finds out about it. Everybody look in here. Don't I have a good smile? I have a pageant smile. I can pull it out. Just be walking in the busy Atlanta airport, can't get through a crowd, just stop and pose and smile. They will miss you. They will go out of the way to miss you. So I have been telling you since we started that it's fun to look for humor, and you can look at your families, your friends, strangers. And so you would think right now, with all this fun tonight, that I didn't have any problems. None at all. But look up here. See me smiling? I've covered. Everybody? If I didn't tell you, you would not know it. My pantyhose are near my knees. You looked down. Yes, you did. You looked down. They don't make pantyhose for 6'2" women. And before every speech, I go out somewhere and I pull them up. And then I forget how long I've been out there sometime, and the minute I start talking, they work their way down. And one night I was somewhere where I was supposed to speak longer than here, and I took a big step, and it was like a rubber band, whoosh, right up behind me. But when it happened, I looked at the crowd, and I smiled. And you know what they did? They smiled back. And I'll just ask the women, do you like my outfit? Yeah. You like the outfit? Do the men? It doesn't matter. Well, Tony, my assistant, came in not long ago and said, Jeannie, sit down. I need to talk to you, and this is serious. I said, whoa, we're never serious in this. What are you talking about? She said, well, Norma Rose agrees with me, but she's scared to come and tell you. And I said, what's the problem? She said, you need help with your clothes. Sometime when you're speaking up there, you look like a rumpled sheet. And I said, that's so easy for you to say. You're being so short. You can go in a store, buy anything, and fix it. I have to go in a store and look down. Something's hanging out. I'll take that. I'll try on this one. And I'll get this one and see if that'll by any chance fix. She said, what are you doing in the middle of your speeches when I see you pulling and tugging at your clothes at your waistline? I said, well, you know what? I didn't even realize it. I'm glad you mentioned it. I guess when I'm in the middle of a show, my hand hits here, I think subliminally, well, as long as I'm here. And they can't see it on that side over there. I might as well give those pantyhose just a little bit of a tug. She said, is that what you're doing with your thumb when I see you gouging around in your waist? No, taller men and women will tell you, they don't make our shirt tails long enough for us anymore. I'm just tucking in. It's the same thing. I guess my hand comes here and I just subliminally tuck it in. She said, Jeannie, you have an excuse for everything I say. Let me be blunt. I said, I think you've been right blunt. You're keeping your clothes way after they've gone out of style. You waiting on them to roll back in. They're not coming in. Not in this lifetime. Never again will you jump because you think somebody has just come up behind you and turn your head and see it's your own shoulder pad up over your ear. Now get some help. So I called a woman named Jane Tucker, sitting right here from New York City, to come down to Alamance County and go through my closet and Tuckerize me. And in her accent, she said, "What are your wardrobe concerns?" I said, "Well, my friends think I have 3. Number 1, I can't keep my pantyhose up. And number 2, I can't keep my blouse tucked in. And number 3, some of my high school clothes are getting tight." Jane said, "I can solve number 3 for you over the long haul," and she got me this, and I like it and everything else. She said, "But I can solve 1 and 2 for you just like that. Anytime you're wearing an outfit that requires a blouse, don't wear a blouse. Wear instead a bodysuit. It'll hold your pantyhose up, and it can't possibly come out at the waist." I said, "A bodysuit? Is that thing that the tiny little gymnasts wear? Elasticy? Snaps between your legs?" She said, "That's correct." I said, Jane. You might be in the fashion industry in New York City, but I can tell you right now, in North Carolina, those snaps aren't going to hold." She said, "I'll have you know those snaps will hold an elephant to a tree." I said, "I just don't think so." She said, "Well, if it's snug, we can get 4 extra inches of the material that's elasticy and some more elephant string snaps, and then you can get a little bit of more room." And I said, "Well, she is a consultant. I am paying her." I told Left Brain she was a college friend, dropped in one just to see my closet. "But I'm paying her to help me. Why wouldn't I at least try something?" she said. I bought the black bodysuit, 4 extra inches of the material, and a bunch of elephant string snaps. The thing came in one afternoon when Left Brain and I were leaving to drive up to Asheville to the Grove Park Inn. I threw it in the suitcase. Got up the next day, he is in the bed over here asleep with the cover over his head. And I pulled this thing out of the sack. It looked like a large headband. So I found the elephant string snaps and I put them on the floor and I stretched it up and put it on. And ladies, it came to right here. So I took it off and I got out my 4 extra inches of material and snapped some of those elephant string snaps in place and put it on. And now it was longer, but that was probably from just having been put on twice. But I had this 4 extra inches of material that was hanging down in the back, and it had to come through my legs and snap up here in the front. So I started trying to swing it through and see if I could catch it, and I'd see the tail coming, and I would reach for it, and that would mean it would go back there again. So I thought maybe if I could push this from behind. And I pushed and pushed. You don't have any flexibility when you get to be my age. I got nowhere. And the last choice, I bent over as far as I could go and was going in a circle chasing this thing around the room. And that's what I heard Left Brain say from under the cover. "You're going to slingshot yourself into the wall." You get out of the bed and get on the floor and help me get in this thing. Now look between my legs. I don't want to tell you why, just look between my legs. It's not important. You see that material hanging down back there? Reach through my legs and pull it up here and give it to me. I got to snap it to these snaps up here, honey. He looked right up off the floor and said, "These snaps aren't going to hold. I will have you know these snaps will hold an elephant to a tree." And right there is where his left brain kicked in on him. He said, "Why would you want to do that? Who do we know who even owns an elephant? Just give me the thing, get me snapped. Now move me toward the television. And I got over here, and the women will tell you, you got two choices. You can slide your way up like putting on pantyhose, or you can inhale and just stand up. I slid my way up, got on my clothes, and said to Left Brain, turn me toward the door. I'm going down and make a speech. He said, I'm sitting in the back. I got to see this. It was a national convention, and they had evaluations. And I remember a lot of people wrote, the speaker had such good posture. But this is what I do for a living, folks. So from my opening words, I was in control of my speech. But I was in a personal little battle with that bodysuit. I'd be walking along making a point, and this thing would grab me out of the blue, and the people in the audience just jumped back. I remember thinking, practice what you preach, Jeannie. And I gave them my best smile, and they smiled back. I tried to get a read on it, like was it happening every 17 seconds? So I could bow my back and be ready. And I was doing okay. And then halfway through the speech, the pantyhose, uninvited and on their own, jumped into the fray. So I had the pantyhose pulling me under and the bodysuit pulling me over, everybody out here jumping all around. And I came over here to say something to a man in the front row. It was a higher stage, but he was about where you were. And when I leaned in his direction, everything got in sync. Whoosh! And all I could think of was, those two women were right. I've just dropped from 6'2" down to 5'2". Right here on the stage. And I knew I was not going to slide my way up on stage. So I gave him my best pageant smile, and I inhaled and stood up. And those snaps that will hold an elephant to a tree broke loose. And that thing came shimmying across my stomach and went up and slapped me in the face. And when people quit screaming, I looked down, and that 4 inches of material was waving at my crowd. All of a sudden, in the back of the room, Left Brain stood up and started going. Later I said, honey, what were you doing? He said, I was trying to sign to you. The snaps didn't hold. Thank you for coming.